So today I'm going to be talking through how I made this beat. Mainly got inspiration from songs like Flashing Lights by Kanye and plenty of Mike Dean moments in songs such as Sirens by Travis Scott. I'll get on to that part at the end. So with the start, it's a basic sample. Got off a splice. It's a anime based sample. I'll go down to them here. So I start off with a more telephone type feel, and it's mainly just for that rusty, old, like you're going into war type feeling. That's kind of what I get from it, and it's what I wanted to capture. So to get that sound, I had to play a bit with equalizers, make sure it's more in the mid range, and took away majority high frequencies, all low frequencies, just to get that feel. And then after that, it fades into the more cleaner approach. And I feel like that, like what I get from it, it gives me kind of Hans Zimmer type feelings, like vibes. And how I done that, I included a third, just added some delay on it, so you can kind of hear that here. So hold on. And I feel like that clipping, I wanted it to feel like, you're in there. That's what I was going for. And the cello, it acts as the bass in this part. That brings like that lower part and really balances it well. I had to use a strong limiter on it. I was bringing it down to about near -6 decibels. And then took all the high frequencies off of that. Classical compression, that's what I went for this. Really good on strings on Ableton. And then it's got a sidechain, which you'll hear the impacts on the sidechain and the kick later on in the track. And with the utility, I've made the stereo width just around 190%. I felt like when I moved it a bit too much out, it just didn't sound right. It felt too rich in my eyes. With the main ensemble, didn't really do much to it at this point. It's got the sidechain, which you'll hear, and then a bit of a squeeze on the compression. Not really much at this. Just turned the volume down on the faders. And then when we come to where the drum starts kicking, you can see the sidechain working. And this part's where I had to just, I wanted to meld it with that Mike Dean type thing. And Mike Dean always, when he's about to use the synths, it's always like a quiet build-up, then it all kicks in. It's just like, whoa. And that was with the Autobot leads. And I took high frequencies off of it just so I could get a bass, and that's the counter lead. But I used it more of a bass, but obviously the cello plays that part. And then the badass leads, excuse my French, put some saturation on it, so it's a lot of that grunge feeling. That's what I was wanting, just like a really rough lead. I feel like that complements it a lot. And then some standard reverb, didn't use any diffusion, it's 50% on a dry wet. Took away the pre-delay. I didn't like how it came in when it was 0 pre-delay, I just didn't. And then when we go forward into the track where it goes into the verses, like this part, I wanted the hi-hats to be really loud. And the producer Tay Keith, I was looking at videos from him and how he made hi-hats loud, and it didn't really help. It kind of just said risk it all. So that's what I've done there. And then I changed the lead so it's like kind of like a breather. And all the beats I make, I always make like a breather. So it's like I'll play it because my voice isn't as good. So it's just like a breather, so it's like, whoa, and then it kicks in again. And that's really all with the leads. Obviously the kick is just from Splice, it's a standard, it's Kick Perfect it's called, it's off the OS pack. Really good, to be honest. Don't really use much of kicks, but I wanted it to be simple, you know, I didn't want it to be a hard rap beat, I wanted to really develop on these techniques. So all I really added to the kick was, I didn't use any compression, I never use compression on the kicks. EQ all the high frequencies away, just so it's more sub in a way, just so it captures that. And then there is, I don't know why there's reverb here, that really shouldn't be there. And then auto filter, that gets played with a bit towards the end. Just like a low pass filter, so it's more like, when you listen to it with headphones on, it feels like it's down at your jaw, like it's really hard hitting. And then the limiter, just to take that roughness off really, I'd put the release up to 100, and that just made it sound more open in a way, I guess. But the main thing with the kick, it complements the bells. The bells are really important. So it's, I don't really know, I found this plugin, Iron Bells, it comes with Ableton, and I added some delay, EQ, I took most of the low top off, and then we go along, we've got classic compression again, reverb at 57, just so it's more out there, and you can really, you won't notice it, but it's there. But like, obviously if you pay attention like I do, you'll know it's there. It's kind of hard to miss. And then I really made it more mono. I didn't press mono though, I didn't want it too in the middle. So you can see that there, like if I was, it just wouldn't sound right to me. And then when we get to the ending, this is where the Mike Dean part really comes into play. So we've got a pad that's more like waving about, a pan it from right to left. As you can see here, that's with automation. And then I singled out the piano from the main ensemble, just so it's more, it sounds like it's gonna be a good cadence, but I didn't really want that. I wanted it to be like, right, you thought I was done, but no. So then I bring in the lead again, but more with reverb, so it's coming in easily. And then this is where the Mike Dean techniques come in. So it's going down in a chromatic scale, and then with automation, I just lower all the delays, lower all the reverb. So like, instead of the dynamic range feeling like it's out here, it's then coming closer, and then it's more locking you in from thinking that the track's over. And then this is where the bass comes in again, and I've got a lower version of the lead that you can slightly hear. I've got that panning left to right, so you can see that here. And that really complements it. Like, if I was to take that away, I don't know if you noticed it here. Yeah, it feels too high. Like you're missing that lower tone in the outro, and I feel like any outro I'll make, there has to be a lead. You know, it's like a dog. There has to be a lead. You know, and then I bring the drums in, but I put a high pass frequency on them, just so it sounds like that they're getting played in the distance. You know, it's like I wanted it to feel like an Interstellar, like you're going back in time. That's because I watched Interstellar before, but I can't. And I feel like doing that with the high pass, it really complements it, because this is what I'd view as like an album intro, like an LP outro. Like this is what I'd want to hear. It makes me feel like I'm in a movie, and the whole beat just feels like a movie. You've got the start where it's just, you're getting used to it, you're getting introduced to everything, and then more comes in, and then all the chaos happens right around the middle, right about here, where it's just like, it's like going into battle, and then it ends off, you think it's done with just the piano, and then there's like a plot twist. That's how I view it. It's like Serial, you know. It starts off and A, goes to B, goes to C, then goes to A, and it's just like it's really important, this track. And then with the mastering, I didn't really use much, as you can see here. I just put a basic compress on it, just squeezed it a tiny bit. I put the attack up because when I put it down and I was listening to it in my car, it sounded too hard hitting. I didn't really want that. And then on the limit, I brought that down because it was clipping, and the last thing you want is clipping. And then stereo width, I just put up about 60% roughly, just to make it more wider for the whole track. And that's why I didn't want to put the mallets so mono, because once I did that and I had the mallets on mono, it just felt singled out, you know. And then the drive I just put up by like 0.6 decibels. It added a bit more flavour to the outro. I feel you can't really notice it from bar 19 to 81, but that's how I made this beat. Obviously you're able, I'll leave the audio clip below, but there's heavy inspiration from Mike Dean, and that's Monster on it, and that's all the technical side of it.